If you want to know all about the Honey Badger, the brand new 7.62 AR, fresh to the PUBG Mobile Marketplace in Update 2.4, then you've come to the right place. Bullet speed, time to kill, damage numbers, everything you want to know, and all the bits in between you probably didn't even realize existed. I'm Bushka, you're the humans. Let's kick it off. One of the things that PUBG Mobile does really, really well is kind of variations on a theme. ARs that have a little bit of this and a little bit of that and turn them into something very, very different in the game. And the Honey Badger doesn't disappoint in that respect, but it is a real hybrid weapon. There are a lot of guns in the game already in terms of ARs. In fact, we've never had more. And the QBZ-95 now coming in and the FAMAS coming in to more than just one map means that there's a lot of choice out there. And there's been changes to ARs, dramatic changes over the past couple of patches. The SCAR-L, the AUG, the AKM, they've all been touched in one way or another with the Artist Brush. The Honey Badger, though, does things a little bit differently. Again, its base damage is 42.9. Now, that's a lot like the SCAR-L's, which is 42 flat, but it's a lot unlike all the other 7.62 ARs. The Beryl has 45.9. The Graza, the AKM, the DP28, it's not an AR, but they all have 47.9 or thereabouts. The Honey Badger then has lower damage than a normal 7.62 AR, but its recoil is weird. Let's have a look at that little recoil pattern again. The recoil is nearly vertical, and the weapon that this most closely resembles is the G36C, the 5.56 AR that has the best easiest control of recoil in the game, because vertical recoil is super easy to deal with. It's particularly good, this gun, if you're a gyroscope user, because the recoil is just tilt down on the phone. Like the recoil is literally just tilt the phone down and let the gyro work, and it will be incredible because there's no vertical sway left to right. If you have recoil that just goes one direction, it's very, very easy to deal with. And that's what the Honey Badger has. It's why you've seen so many great clips of the Honey Badger on TikTok and Instagram and Twitter lately. I've watched my good mate Ace Lawrence, and I watched Fates with it as well. The gun just kind of goes straight, the recoil. And for a good player or someone that's willing to screw a little bit with their sensitivities, that means you can get a really easy read on the recoil. It also fires very fast for any AR. Its rounds per minute is 698, which is very, very quick. The AUG, with its new buffed rate of fire, is 741, but a standard 5.56 AR, like an M416, is 638. So it's another 10% quicker in terms of its rate of fire than a 5.56 AR. And it does have better damage than an M416. 42.9 is going to give you a weapon that's 2 base damage higher than an M416. It doesn't have any of the AKM's little tricks with limb damage and stuff. The limb damage is 19.3, which is right in line with the multiplier. That's exactly where it should be. But all this combined gives you a time to kill of 0.258. Now, that sounds spectacularly good, because it is. It's very, very good in terms of time to kill. It beats the FAMAS. It beats all the other ARs that are well drop. And it comes just in above like an AUG and a Graza and those kind of things. But that's where the good news stops and the tough stuff starts coming in. You see, the Honey Badger is more like an SMG than you know, because it has the worst bullet speed of any AR in the game. And that's pretty impressive, considering that the Beryl has been power creeped by this bullet speed phenomenon that, because PUBG Mobile at the moment, they're balancing with damage, but what they're also really balancing with is bullet speed. Now, bullet speed is the magic number. Bullet speed gets the weapon. Let's look at it this way. Bullet speed is both accuracy. The faster your bullet speed, the more like a laser your gun is, and the less you have to lead the target. It's why people spray at range with an M416 and they don't spray at range with a UMP, because UMP obviously has better recoil, but hey, I mean, if you're spraying someone moving at range with a UMP, you're leading them by 3 times as much as you are with an M416. The Honey Badger's bullet speed is 660 meters a second. Now, that's very bad. The M762 barrel's bullet speed is 697 meters per second. And that's already well under the next worst, which is the AKM at 750 meters a second. And the AK's had 2 separate bullet speed buffs to improve it over the past year or so. The other thing that bullet speed does is it gets the round there quicker, meaning the damage registers quicker with the server, meaning if you hit 100 damage before the other guy, all his bullets just vanish. And it's great when targets are coming into you. You can still hit dead straight targets. It's when targets are moving about the screen that you start losing your edge. And this is why I say it's like an SMG, because the Honey Badger's real value in CQC is in hipfire. Now, I'm not a great hipfire player. I use too much ADS in my gameplay, and I know this. It's just one of those things. I love ADSing, and I do it too often. But it's something that both the Honey Badger and the FAMAS, which I'm going to do a video on in a sec, really do bring to the table. They're meant for close ranges. They're not meant for long-range sprays. All the good clips of people spraying that I've seen, well, the predominantly large amount of them, have not been out of cars going horizontally or targets running across fields and jerking around everywhere. They've been on targets that are either stationary or coming directly towards you. And that's where horizontal movement isn't really working against you. And that's when the Honey Badger shines. Is it better than the AKM? Then this is something that I've been asked quite a bit, because the AKM has been the poster child for new wave AR play. It is a very, very good AR. I don't think it is. I really don't. The time to kill numbers are slightly favoring the Honey Badger. But where the Honey Badger falls down is, 1, it's got worse bullet speed than the AKM, and 2, it doesn't have the AKM's limb damage gimmick. How about this? How clutch is that? No vest, run him over, get to the next circle. The AKM in situations like this is just, well, it's a better bet. Your options are a little bit more versatile, and the things that you can get done are a little bit more impressive. It's all about that limb damage. It gives the AKM a whole different vista. You can massively up your chances against level 3 armor. It's not very, very close in my opinion, but that doesn't mean the Honey Badger's deficient. It's just different. And it is something that you can really get to terms with. This is me with the idiots, the patrons. This is what happens. We do rooms, we start getting numbers, and I'm like, I'm going to go do the video. And then we just end up playing for like 5 hours. And that's something that happens. We did find out some stuff too about the FAMAS and the bow, the explosive bow. You can see we shot Barry there on the right, and Hockey Roop and Nev took damage on the left, 5 meters away. And it did 68.4 damage to a level 3 vest. So we might do a complete video on the bow hunting or something. It sounds like a lot of fun. And there's also going to be a video coming on the FAMAS too. It suffers with that bullet speed. That's really the thing that pulls it back. And bullet speed is just such an underrated factor with the player base. Things like that wouldn't have happened as clearly and as cleanly in terms of losing that gunfight with the guy. If I had been using a 5.56 AR, because the bullets would have got there first and he just would have got knocked. It's not great pushing like this. Like we get away with it because there's 3 or 4 of us here pushing up at one time. So we're just trying to suppress this guy, all of us, and get to Steve so that we can actually revive him. And we get away with it because of that, because this guy can't hold the angle for very long. But it's really not good for this, because this is where bullet speed is everything again. By the time your round gets there, he may well have ducked behind the parapet of that rock. Whereas if you're running an AUG, which Barry is, those rounds are hitting quicker and Barry gets the clear. I love it as a CQC weapon, and it's nice to have another variable in the game. And it's a very cheeky long-range spray. If you want to find someone who is in a set position at range and you can manage to get the Honey Badger on them, then it's very, very good at that, because its bullet speed is about, well, probably 70 to 80% more than a UMP now, but it's about 30% less than your 5.56 AR. The FAMAS video is going to be coming up shortly as well. I'm going for a little bit of a beach trip next week, so I don't know. I've been real lazy over these Christmas holidays, but the big takeaway, if you just want to know about the FAMAS now, is you want to be doing more hip fire. More hip fire with the FAMAS. It is really where the FAMAS is shining in very close quarters combat. And we'll obviously be doing a lot of other stuff on the other weapons and all that's gone on in Update 2.4. If you wouldn't mind subscribing to the channel, that'd help me. But apart from that, just look after yourselves and have a great 2023. And stick around. We're going to have some fun. It's all going to be fun this year. No other way forward. I'm Bushka. You're the humans. Until next time, stay safe on the battlefield.